Update. My wife refuses to accept our divorce and thinks she's trying to trick me. Original post. My wife, 29 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 4 years. And up until a year and a half ago, things were fantastic. Our marriage began to deteriorate after there was a significant drop in sex between us. Not intimacy, just the actual sex part of the relationship. We would still cuddle and have deep, intimate moments talking and just being around each other. But she kept rejecting my attempts at taking things further past kissing. Now, we have had no problem communicating, so I made sure to address it early. We talked and made adjustments. We both made sure to stay in shape. We tried being more adventurous, we went to couples therapy/counseling, and even tested both of our hormone levels. Everything was normal. Each solution would work for a little while, and then we'd be back to having it maybe once a month. I asked her several times if she was no longer attracted to me, to which she denied every time. I asked her if I was falling short in the relationship in any other way, to which she said no. Well, about a month ago, she got back from therapy session and told me that she believes she's asexual and that's the reason for her libido being non-existent as of late. I was definitely confused because we had such great sex for a while in the beginning of our relationship. But her telling me that she's now asexual was heartbreaking because everything else is great. Obviously, I'm not going to force her to do it. So we had a long conversation about our relationship, and I came to the conclusion that we should get a divorce. I say I because she immediately rejected the idea, said we would figure something out, and wouldn't talk to me about it anymore. I don't know what to say, so I dropped it. Well, 3 weeks went by without sex, and I decided I had to do this for my own mental well-being. So I filed for divorce and had her served with the papers. Last week, when I got home from work, she was going about the day like nothing was wrong. I asked her if she signed the papers, and she flat out said, "We are not getting a divorce." Then changed the subject and acted like things were normal. Obviously, I thought this was crazy, so I stopped her and said I couldn't be in a marriage devoid of sex, and I mentioned that I was being incredibly fair with our divorce. She can keep the house that we bought and paid for with cash. She paid 1/3, I paid the rest. I'd take all of the debt, which isn't much. We'd split our savings and investments in half, and she could keep 2 of our 3 paid-off cars. I only wanted to keep my sports car. Thankfully, we don't have kids. I love her and want her to be comfortable, and I have no problem starting over since I make a good income. But she won't budge or talk about the divorce. This brings us to 2 days ago. I got home, went to our bedroom, and found my wife's friend, 27 female, naked in our bed. I immediately shut the door, said sorry, and went looking for my wife. I found her in the kitchen and asked what her friend was doing here, and she said that she was here for me. I put 2 and 2 together and said that I am not having sex with other women in the place of the woman I chose to marry. She was adamant that I could sleep with her friend whenever I wanted, and that her friend agreed to it. I couldn't believe things had gone this far, so I went back to our bedroom and asked her friend to leave. I packed a bag and have been staying in a hotel nearby since that night. My wife, her mother, and her sister keep calling me, but I'm just not interested in hearing what they have to say. This feels like a trick. I just want this whole thing to be over. Does anyone have advice? Is this some kind of ploy for alimony? We do have a prenup. Should I just contact my lawyer and try to force the divorce? I'm really uncomfortable with this entire situation. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You did right, bro. Let your attorney handle this. Do not have sex with anyone until your attorney says you're in the clear. That's my only course of action right now. I'm going to look for an apartment tomorrow. Also, why are you offering her so much? Split the marital property equitably and move on. If you even have the slightest inclination that she's trying to set you up, then don't just roll over and let her have everything, because that won't be enough for her and her attorney. She has been wonderful to me otherwise. I don't feel like she should be punished for finding out who she is. I want her to be comfortable because she doesn't make nearly as much as I do. I can bounce back with no issue. She'll still have to work to provide for herself, unless she marries another high earner or becomes one herself. A fresh start doesn't scare me at all. Now for the first update. I'll try to keep this as concise as possible. I feel overwhelmed, so I probably won't bother with another update after this one. I don't know. My wife came to my hotel last night, and we talked about everything. She told me the full truth and what's been going on in her mind. A few of you commented this in the last post, so you were right. She has always been asexual. She and her whole family have known this since she was 16. Apparently, this is the reason why her last long-term relationship of 3 years ended. He broke up with her after the sex between them diminished to being non-existent after the first year. She told me that it's easier for her in the beginning when emotions are running high, but she still needs to force herself to have it. I knew they broke up due to irreconcilable differences, but I didn't ask for details, nor did she tell me. After a lot of apologies and crying, she told me that I was the first person she was able to tolerate sex with for so long, and that she did enjoy it a handful of times. But after a while, she still felt like she was being violated. I broke down after hearing this and started kicking myself for not catching on to any of this. She said she tried her best to please me as much as she could. She still doesn't want a divorce, and she doesn't want the house, cars, or the savings. She just wants me, and is ready to do whatever it takes to keep me. She even said that she would sign a post-nup stating this. As for her friend, she was there during her last breakup and helped support her through it. My wife went to her after I brought up divorce and talked things out. Her friend suggested that she opened a relationship for me, but she said she didn't want me sleeping with strange women. So her friend volunteered herself to be the one that sleeps with me. My wife thought this was a great idea, which led to the fiasco at our house. I won't comment on her appearance because it doesn't matter, and I don't blame the friend. My lawyer got back to me. You are all right. I don't need her permission, but I will have to wait if I want to push it through. I asked her why she lied to me this entire time, and she said she was tired of being rejected after revealing she was asexual. So she convinced herself that she would be able to force herself to have sex during the relationship. The hormone testing, the sessions in couples therapy, and all of our solutions were just her buying time to find another way around it, or give herself enough time to build up the strength to start regularly having it with me again. Our conversation ended with us holding each other in bed, crying for a couple of hours. No, we didn't have sex. She pleaded with me to hold off on the divorce so we could look for a solution together, and then left my hotel room. I'm now sitting alone, typing this freaking post. I guess I found out that we don't share everything with each other. Thank you to everyone who has messaged me directly. I'm still trying to get all of them. I don't know what I'm going to do. Second update. I've tried to read every comment/message and take to heart what most of you had to say. Also, please stop messaging me. I can't respond to everyone. It's too much. I'll make this as short as possible. After my last update, my wife asked me to meet with her about a week later to discuss things. I've been staying at an extended stay hotel since that night with her friend. We met at our house and talked for a few hours. She started off with a ton of apologies for how she acted, for lying about her sexuality, and for not taking my sexual needs more seriously. Before I could say anything, she presented a signed post-nup agreement she had drafted with a lawyer, stating that she doesn't want anything. The house, the cars, the savings, everything. I felt like the biggest a-hole for thinking that she was tricking me for more money. I asked her if she was serious, and she told me to take the post-nup with me and sign it when I'm ready. I still haven't signed it. It's in my backpack. I told her that I still think divorce is our best course of action, and that we both deserve to find someone who matches our needs. She still refused and borderline begged me to reconsider. She started crying, and so did I. Seeing her like this was devastating. I told her that her finding other women to sleep with me wasn't going to work. What if I develop feelings for them? What if I get one of them pregnant? Do we expect her to get an abortion? She said we'll figure it out as we go along, and pleaded with me to give her more time to work on other solutions. She set up appointments for sex and hormone therapy and is seeing a sex guru. I said that it sounds like we're going through the same things again, but she was adamant and pleaded with me to wait. There were more apologies on both sides, and we kissed for a while before ending the conversation. Then I went back to my hotel that night. A few days later, I tried texting her but she didn't respond. So I called her dad. I'm avoiding her mother and sister since they are saying the same things as my wife. Her dad told me that she moved back home and has been holed up in her room since our talk. She called out of work. He told me that she's barely eating, bathing, or talking to him or her mom. He asked me what I was going to do, but I didn't have an answer for him. He just said he understands and that he would be here to talk anytime I wanted to. So I went back to our house, and a good portion of her stuff was gone. The whole place feels empty. I've been sleeping in one of the spare rooms. I'm planning on flying to my mother's house in a couple of weeks to spend time with my family and decompress from this entire situation. I'm still on the divorce side of the fence, but I guess there's no rush. Thank you to everyone for your insight and concern. Seriously. I know we're all strangers, but most of you have been a huge help to my mental health. Seriously, thank you. I think I'll just make a quick edit to this post once we reach a resolution for anyone who cares. She said, "We'll figure it out as we go along and ask you to please give her more time to work on other solutions." No, you should figure it out now and hold her to that. It's her "we'll figure it out as we go" mindset that got you both into this situation. I don't even know her, but this one pattern of her behavior keeps repeating in your posts. She avoids the hard questions. These aren't faraway hypotheticals, but legitimate possible consequences of the plan she's suggesting. If you have any interest in saving this relationship, then you need to hammer out the details before you act. She sure won't. It's a rough situation, but if having an intimate physical relationship with your wife is important, I think you know what needs to be done. It sucks for everyone involved. Godspeed. Sex in the relationship is like the toilet in your house. It's not the first thing you mention when talking about it, but if it's not working, then it's immediately noticed. Now for the third update 10 months later. Hey everyone! In hindsight, I regret making these posts because I think I received too many pieces of advice. I keep thinking I should have just handled it internally with just family. I don't regret my decisions. I just wish I had given myself more time to think. Anyway, here's the update. I'll keep it short. The divorce was finalized months ago. Our house was sold along with one of the cars, and my ex-wife is still living with her parents. I had a little more than 2/3 of the proceeds wired to her account, but the last time I talked to her dad, she hadn't touched a dime. I was informed that she checked into a mental health clinic, but I don't know how long she was there or what her current state is. I changed my number, but her dad has emailed me a few times to check on me throughout this last year, which breaks my heart because he's a great man. Him playing both sides of the fence like this really made everything go a lot smoother. Other than not warning me, which I honestly don't think was his place to do, he's been a huge help. I moved back to my home state to be closer to my family. I may leave to go to another state again. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I feel numb from this whole thing. I'm not much of a drinker, so I've been smoking a ton of pot and working out to occupy my mind. To everyone who didn't get a response from me in my messages, I'm sorry, but there were just too many. I responded to as many as I could mentally handle. I think that's it. I can't imagine that there would be any additional questions, but I'll answer whatever I can. Wow. Hope you both find some type of lasting happiness. You moving on. Your ex hopefully finds some peace. I'm not so sympathetic to his ex-wife. She lied to him for years, misled him, and dragged us out, taking years of his life away, trying to live her version of happiness at his expense. It's unfortunate she's taking it so hard, but what she did to him was cruel and selfish. Are you happy? That's all I would like to know at this point, brother. You've been through a lot. I'm happy to be alive to experience the highs and lows of this existence. I'm happy to move on to the next chapter of my life. Thank you for asking. Good to her, man. Just out of curiosity, do you see yourself ever capable of being friends with her again? Or is the pain too strong to ever be around her again? I view her differently now, although I still love her. I don't know about the distant future, but for now, there's no way. Last story. Broke up with my fiancé and canceling the wedding after she admitted to having fantasies of doing better than me after her weight loss journey. My fiancé, 27 female, and I, 27 male, were together for almost 9 years. I proposed to her a couple of years ago, and I really loved her a lot. After my proposal, she started her weight loss journey and asked if we could set the wedding date only after she reached her goal. I supported her through her journey, and I was really proud of the progress she made. She lost more than 100 pounds, and while she still looked great before, she looked gorgeous after her journey. She was also upfront with me and admitted she was getting a lot more attention now. It was the most attention she had ever gotten in her life. It did make me somewhat insecure. She even said that a really cute guy at the grocery store complimented her tattoo once and asked for her number, even though he could see her engagement ring. However, my fiancé told me she rejected him. One night, when she was super drunk, she admitted she sometimes had dreams of getting a hot, tall, finance guy. But after seeing my reaction to that, my fiancé instantly apologized. A lot of these insecurities were building up in me, and I did speak with my best friend and ask her if this was normal. She said it wasn't normal at all, and that what my fiancé was doing was not okay. Last week, I admitted to my fiancé that I couldn't do it anymore. My fiancé was shocked, apologized a lot, and started crying. I was surprised by her reaction because she had admitted to wanting a better guy than me. My fiancé told me she was just proud of the progress she made and that I was the only one she loved and would ever love. She kind of freaked out a lot and asked if I was influenced by my best friend. I told her honestly that yes, I did seek external advice because my insecurities were just eating me up inside. My fiancé told me she would never do it again. She was crying a lot, and it looked like she was having a panic attack. I was honestly worried about her, so I told her I would think about it because I just wanted my fiancé to calm down at the moment. I think what I said just shocked her a lot. However, the next day, when she had calmed down a bit, I told her my decision was final and that I had just lost a lot of love for her. Now for the comments. In my mind, there isn't a woman alive better than my wife. I don't care if I was back to my competition weight and making $250,000 a year. There is no woman alive I'd want more than her. Your ex-fiancé lost some weight and got some attention, and her first thought was that these other men were better than you? Yeah, no, she never really loved you. When you love someone, no one is better than them. Who wants to be with someone who pretty much said they settled for you because you were all they could get at a time? Exactly. That's what I was thinking. She pretty much admitted to settling, but that she was okay with it. Exactly. She was planning on monkey branching, but OP cut her off, and now she's landed face first in the mud. OP, I'm glad you caught the red flag and protected yourself. I wish more people acted on red flags instead of ignoring them or coloring them in.